Hey guys, Holy Basil, back with another video. I'm thankful to be here, back between the rack. And lately I've just been thinking about how I've been a little burned out with being a father, working 12-hour shifts, having some sickness. And I was training every day, trying to work out at least 6 days a week with one rest day. And that was at the expense of some sleep and probably a lot of gains. And I've noticed one of the trends on the fitness spectrum lately has been volume, especially lower volume training, which isn't exactly new because Mike Mincer was talking about this way back.
The mistaken premise there is that more is better. And the body doesn't necessarily work that way. If 2 hours or 4 hours a day were good, well, why not train 12 hours a day? Training is a form of stress.
Now, I'm not the brightest guy, but within every interest, there are theories. So my application is going to be within bodybuilding. If you were to look at the basic framework of it, of its theory, you would have volume, intensity, and frequency. Volume would be how much work you are doing. Intensity would be how hard you are doing it, like your effort. And then frequency, how often. Using these three different variables, you're essentially trying to progressively overload each one. To break down volume even more, you can do it into sets and reps. Most people agree that 10 to 20 sets a week is ideal for bodybuilding, hypertrophy. Most people also agree that muscle growth occurs between 1 to 20, sometimes 30 reps. There are a lot of arguments about whether 4 to 8 is optimal or 10 to 12, 10 to 15, but that's not the subject of discussion for today. Within intensity, you have two different ways that most people measure it. You have RIR, which is reps in reserve. So if you say that something is a 0, then you think that you have absolutely 0 reps left in the tank. If you think it's a 10, then you think you have 10 reps in the tank. It's not the best at measuring because it is an anecdotal thing. So unless you do like an AMRAP, as many reps as possible, it's going to be hard to judge that. It's going to be hard to judge failure, especially just by yourself lifting. The other way of measuring intensity is RPE, which I feel like more people use, and it's rate of perceived exertion. RPE is measured on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being, of course, would be the easiest rep ever, and 10 would be the absolute grindingest, gun to your head rep. So it would be the equivalent of an RIR 0. You have 0 reps left in the tank. Lastly, frequency, a little bit easier to explain, and that is how often you're working the muscle. Most people agree twice a week for a muscle group is ideal for muscle growth. It just depends on you and your situation, how often you can work that. Some people do 2 a days. That's just not feasible for most people. Some people do once a week. Someone I've been following lately is TNF. He is a proponent of doing less reps and less working sets, and that equates to less volume.
Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
And I think I'm going to start incorporating that because that's going to help me track my progress. When you're calculating 4 reps in comparison to 20 to 30 reps, how often do you think you get off on your counting? I know I sure do with my ADD.
A deficit of the attention and hyperactivity is in the name, but you can be one or the other because it doesn't have to be one and the same.
I plan on working out less frequently, so instead of doing 5 to 6 days a week, I want to do 3 to 4 and making the most of things. So when you're juggling these 3 variables, volume, intensity, and frequency, you can't increase each one. They have an inverse relationship. The more frequently that you train, the less intense you train. The more volume that you have, the less intense that you can do. It's working with a budget each day. I felt that my intensity in the gym has been lacking, and I know that with decreasing my volume, at least for a short duration, a training cycle, that is going to help me have more intense sessions, which I think will help with burnout in the long run, because I'll actually look forward to the gym. Training 6, sometimes 7 days a week, I'll be honest, I don't look forward to the gym. Operating on a limited sleep schedule of less than 7 hours sometimes is not ideal, and it's not the most conducive to looking forward to your workouts, to grinding. And because of that, your workouts suffer. The thought process could just be summarized as quality over quantity. Doing more doesn't equate to accomplishing more. Now, I'm not trying to think extreme here and say that less is always more and that you'll get more results the less that you train. The Mike Benser way of maybe training once a week and just going absolutely balls to the wall. That's not true at all. It's going to matter where you're at in your lifting phase. If you're cutting down, you're going to have to cut your volume down because you just plain cannot handle it, because you're not having that energy in the form of calories coming in, and probably in just recovery in general because your sleep is going down. If you're on performance enhancing drugs, steroids, whatever you want to call it, this still applies to you, but more so at a different level. And the way that I'll liken it is to a budget. Budgets are useful, but I would dare say that they're more useful for people who don't make a lot of money, because they don't have as much to play with. They have to be more strict. But budgets for rich people, they've got a lot to lose, and they need to manage it correctly or things can go wrong. So my comparison is going to be, for lack of a better comparison, is that the poor people or middle class, whatever you want to say, are the natural lifters, and the rich people are the enhanced. And that's not to put down us, natural lifters. It's still important because you can't just have infinite volume. You still have to recover. Steroids make it easier for you to recover, and you can be more intense and have more motivation, but you still have to incorporate those elements, because I do think that you get to a certain point in volume where you have junk volume, things that are not contributing to muscle growth, and it's just a pump. Fluff work. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble about volume, intensity, and frequency like a total nerd. I'm just looking forward to changing things up, not being afraid to try new things, and I can slowly escalate the volume. If you have any input, please comment below, and thank you for watching.
In other words, you'll never know how good you might have become unless you try. So let's get with it.